Okay, everyone, so we've taken care of the first part of the door maintenance, which was all of the hinges, the roller shafts, the spring pulleys. Remember the note I said about the spring pulleys in the last video. And all the containment cables are taut. So now we're going to work more on the openers. So what I want to do for this one is I want to re-grease the rail, first of all. Then what's the procedure? We'll also disconnect the arm from the door so we can move the thing across. You'll see why. I'm going to leave it plugged in for now because I'm going to use the inner trolley to help spread the grease. And then after that's all set, we're going to go inside, see how the gears look. And if the gears are good, we'll just re-grease them. So they should be good for a while, a nice while longer. Then after all that's done, then we'll adjust the chain tension. So let's go ahead and start with the first part. All right, so to start, we want to disconnect the trolleys like last time. Okay, and then we want to take off this pin right here, so that way I can slide this pin out of the door and release the arm from it. All right, got the pin out. Now this should just slide out. There we go. And there's the door arm just swinging freely right there. Just move it out of the way for now, I guess. It's still attached to the inner trolley there. There we go. All right, so then let's head on up there and take care of what we have to with the rail. Okay, so what I did here was I moved the outer trolley all the way to the end of the rail. We'll leave the inner one there for now. And then what we're going to do is with the shop towel, just go all along the rail here and just get off all this old grease. That way we'll have a nice clean surface to put the new grease on. So we're going to go across the entire rail here with the rag, and then we're going to get off as much as we can. And just by the way the shop towel looks, yeah, we definitely got a lot of stuff off that rail. Yeah, look at all that stuff. Wow. Yeah. All right. So basically, what I'm going to do is, you want to put grease on the underside of the rail. I'll grease the underside of the inner trolley, but that's after I move it. Yeah. So like along the bottom side of the rail, and then I want to put some on the sides, like the very sides where the trolley slides along the rail. And I saw some interesting video where some guy apparently did like a zigzag pattern on the bottom of the rail. That may not be a bad idea, and once the trolley moves, it should spread it, all things considered. But we'll give it a try. If it doesn't look good, hey, we'll remember for next time or for the other openers. What we're going to be using here is, the owner's manual recommends white lithium grease. So that's what we're going to do to grease up the rail, and then that should be all set. So let's go ahead and do that, show you what it looks like, and then go from there. So just to give you an idea of what I'm doing here, you can see I started out kind of messy, but then got better as I went along. So basically what I'm doing is with this tube here, I'm basically doing a zigzag pattern on the bottom of the rail, but I'm also holding the tube against the rail so that way the grease kind of flattens out a little bit, because I'm sure once the trolley moves, it's going to pick up a lot of this and it may even drop down. So good word of advice, don't stand under the rail the first time you run this or have any cars here, obviously. So once I get the rest of the grease on, we'll run it, see what happens, and go from there. And there it is. Got all the grease on the bottom of the rail there. Some on the sides as well, on both sides. I don't quite know if I have too much on there, but I guess we're going to find out regardless. All right, so there it is, and let's run it up and see what happens. Looks like most of the grease isn't getting touched at all. That's okay though, because good. Actually went just far enough. Maybe needs some load from the door, in order to get the grease going. I got some on the rail on the chain there too, but that's not going to be a problem. All right, so it definitely did move the grease around the sides of the rail, not so much the top, but or rather the bottom. I can probably fix that though. So, all right, so let me go ahead and get some grease on the bottom of the inner trolley. Give it another run, see what happens. All right, so the inner trolley is all greased. I think what I have to do is I think I have to reconnect this to the door because that's going to put some pressure or whatever on it and push the inner trolley up and get this grease more spread. One thing I think probably also going to do here is I'm also going to put some dabs of grease on the corners of the outer trolley, just so that way as the outer trolley moves, it's going to go on the inner trolley itself, but it should spread some grease to the top of the inner trolley as well. I mean, it can't really hurt. These are metal parts we're greasing here. So, all right, let me try to get some grease on the outer trolley, reconnect the door, and see how it goes. Okay, so I have the arm reconnected for now. I also greased the opener release. Figure why not. So let's run this back down. And I'm sure once it's connected to the door, it's probably going to make a big mess. We'll have to see. All right, and now let's open the door and let's see what happens. Oh yeah, it's definitely spreading. Look at that. I can tell you one thing, it's definitely running quieter. There's no denying that. All right, let's go ahead and run it down. Wow, this is running a lot quieter. Holy crap. That is unbelievably quiet. I am not kidding. Well, we definitely did something good there. That's for sure. All right, so we have the rail greased up, which is fantastic, as you can see. Maybe I'll just patch up those couple of missing parts right there, and then let's go ahead and what was next on the agenda? I think it was to check the gears. Yeah, so we have that grease and everything. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do the next step. All right, next we're going to go ahead and check the inside of the opener, see how the gears look. Hopefully they're in still good condition. I can just grease them, but we'll see. So I think in these particular openers, you have to take the light lenses off and then do the side screws. Let's go ahead and do that. And in this case, yeah, you want to unplug it too. So let's go ahead and do that. And just to give you guys a show, here's the grease packs. I'm not going to use all these, of course, but this would be good. So basically, there's actually 6 screws you have to take out. There's 2 screws at the top there that you probably know about. There's also 2 right up there. But at each light bulb, and you probably want to take the light bulb out, there's a hole right there. Let me get to it. Right below that reflection tape. You see that hole right there? Yep, that's the other piece, or rather the other screw goes there. And over here on the front, same thing. You got the screw hole right there. And then once you get the screws out, for the most part, the cover just comes right off. All right, let's go ahead and have a look inside. If I'm honest, guys, I'm absolutely amazed. This opener is, just about 6 years old now. And look at that gear. There is like next to no wear on there. That is amazing. Now, granted, we do have 2 more openers, but hopefully they'll be in a similar condition. But I mean, look at that. Like, there's some grease blobs there, which is fine. But like, that is looking a lot better than I thought it would. That gear still looks great. But it definitely can't hurt to put more grease on there, that's for sure. Because like I said, it's been 6 years. So it would be easier if I got this thing off here, but the board's attached to there, 2 connectors and the wires there. I don't know if I'm going to want to take that. I think I might want to leave that alone. What's interesting is, as you know, this opener has electronic limits. And I guess this is the mechanism for that. If you have mechanical limits, you'll have 2 gears right here and a set of 3 gears right here. If you do have mechanical limits, by the way, do grease those 2 gears here and the middle gear that you'll see along here. The 2 side gears are for your adjusters, which almost never ever turn, so you don't have to worry about those. But if you have mechanical limits, also grease the 2 gears you'll see right here and the middle gear for the limiter. But I'm just stunned. Like, that's how the gear looks after 6 years. So for one thing, it means our doors are well balanced and they're well lubricated, definitely. So, but again, we got 2 more openers, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and have a look at the worm gear on the other side. Worm gear looks fantastic. Now, they do say worm gears are not known to fail on these units, but still, that's really amazing to see after 6 years of use. So what I'll do is I'm going to grease up the worm gear, obviously, and the main drive gear. I'll show you that after it's all done, and then we could probably start reassembling this. Well, I actually gave it a couple of runs, actually, after I re-greased the gears. So it's gonna kind of look the same as it did before when I showed it to you before, but yeah, that gear looks great after 6 years. I really am amazed. You know, just for the heck of it, let's go ahead and run the opener. You can see it operate. I'm not going to stand by it because I don't want to do that, but what I'll do is I'll stand over here. Okay. And then here, you know, I'll keep it like this so you can see the inner trolley go. So we're going to run it up. And now we'll run it back down. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so this opener is pretty much all set. Well, actually, no, we gotta do the chain first. But yeah, rail is greased, trolleys are greased, gear is greased, so we're in good shape so far. So let's go ahead and put this back together. Okay, opener is all back together. Now the last thing to do here is to tighten the chain. The chain's way low on the rail. I think they say the chain should be a ½ inch up above the rail where it is. And right now it's like probably like not even a quarter of an inch. So I'm gonna go ahead and adjust these nuts to tighten up the chain some. And you want the trolleys disconnected when you do that. And we'll bring the chain up so it's just about a ½ inch above the rail. Okay, so this opener is all back together and good to go, as you can see. So now the next step is to do the same procedure on the middle one. As you can see, I've already got it prepared. And also the side one. So we're going to do the same procedure on both these openers. I'll probably just show the gears. And most of the stuff I'm just going to skip because it's the exact same thing as the other opener. But I will show the gears inside and maybe some other stuff after that. But so far, we're going well. So that looks a little bit better. Actually, the opener didn't really do much, so I just did it all by hand. But looking at this rail, this doesn't look too bad, but I think I used a little too much grease on the first opener. If you're a garage door mechanic, just bear with me, please. It's the first time I'm doing this, so it's a learning process. What I can do is I can just rub some excess off with my finger, maybe put some on the top edge of the rail where the trolley slides. That'll probably do fine. But yeah, so this rail is all taken care of now, as is the inner trolley, all greased. Now it'll be time to look at the gears. We are 2 for 2, guys. Check out that gear. After 6 years of use, still looks fantastic. Yes, of course, we are going to re-grease it. But again, after 6 years of use, that gear looks really good. Very happy about that. As a matter of fact, in case any of you were curious, I didn't mention it before, the way you can tell that this cover goes back on is this little pad right here, this goes towards the door. Or another way to look at it, this goes just below the drive motor. I think just, to absorb vibrations and maybe give the motor a little bit more support. I don't know, but this goes directly below the motor. So you'll know exactly where the cover goes, and there's the motor right there. And look, let's just go up top and look at the worm gear. I'm sure it's fine, but let's check. And here's the worm gear. Worm gear looks fantastic as well. It does feel a little bit warm, but I'm wondering if maybe the heat from the motor is carrying over through the drive shaft and going onto the gear, because the motor, yeah, the motor's pretty warm. I did cycle it a few times for the grease, but worm gear looks fine. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and get that grease packet again and liberally put a bunch of grease on both the worm gear and the main gear. One thing I also forgot to mention about the power head cover here is that normally when a gear strips, you'll see all this white nylon on the bottom of the cover. But so far, the 2 covers I've taken off, there has not been anything on these covers. So I'm very happy to see that. There were a couple of bits of styrofoam, probably from the factory, but I mean, seriously, both covers so far I've taken off, no nylon whatsoever on the cover. So I know these gears are still in good shape. Very happy about that. All right, everybody. Well, this one's all good to go. All back together, gears are all nice and greased up. This chain didn't really need that much adjustment. I just gave it a tad more, but it still makes a sound when it opens, which I like, and I'll tell you why later. All right, so 2 down, 1 to go. And guess what, guys? On the gear, we are 3 for 3. So all 3 of them still look good. This one actually looks like it needs to be greased a little bit more than the other 2, which actually doesn't surprise me because this door actually gets the most use out of the other 2. Like, when we go out to get the mail or go out to, well, do anything, this door usually is the one that gets used, so that doesn't surprise me. But for 6 years of use, that doesn't look too bad at all. I'm not even going to worry about the worm gear because I'm sure that's fine. So now this time, I'll grease it up and not forget to show you what it looks like. And here's the gear all greased up. Within its first cycle, it'll all get spread around and moved in. I did the best I could in that area right there to get it in the teeth, but it should be okay. But you can see you just cover the entire recessed areas with grease and you should be good. In this case, the messier it is, the better it is. Let's go ahead and look at the worm gear. And over here on the worm gear, same thing. So you just cover as much as you can and it should work its way in there. And what's good is as soon as you cycle the opener, it's going to go up. So the areas that you had a hard time getting grease in, that worm gear should pretty much cover it. It'll spread all in and everything, so you should be good to go. So that's how you grease the gear. Just apply it as liberally as possible. Get as much of it you can in there. If it's messy, good. It means you're doing a good job. All right, gear is finally greased. Let's go ahead and put this back together and adjust the chain. Oh, okay, everybody. Opener's back together. Chain's been adjusted. Doors reconnected. That is that all 3 openers are all done. I'll just tell you right now, plan this well in advance, because don't forget, if you got 3 openers, you're doing 3 times the work. Sure took me, let's say, what time did I start doing this? 3 to 4 hours between doing all this stuff. So it was worth it, but man, am I beat, let me tell you. So all 3 openers have all been lubricated, re-greased the gears, the rails, adjusted the chains, greased the inner and outer trolley. They sound much better than they did. So I'm not going to do an open or close video right now because I need a break. It's been one heck of a day. Time to clean up and have some tea. Maybe I'll treat myself out to dinner. I think I deserve it. Anyway, there you guys go. So there's the garage door maintenance. You can see it's quite a bit of work, but if you can set aside a day and get it done, you can do it, even if you got 3 doors like I do. So up next, or maybe not next, but soon, I will have another opener run video for you guys with everything I did, and you can probably see how they sound compared to previous videos. So hopefully this video helped you guys a little bit in garage door maintenance. If it did, that's pretty awesome. Hopefully it works for you when it comes time for you guys to do something like this. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.